With a WWE star's contract expiring in 2 weeks and Roman Reigns saying The Rock will want to face him, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for November 19th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Prior to returning as a heel, Becky Lynch was enjoying a great run as a babyface where she got to share an incredible moment with The Rock. She told the SI Media podcast what that meant to her. He's great. He's so great. You look at him and he's the biggest movie star in the world and has a million different irons in the fire, but he still keeps his ear to the ground and knows what's going on and wants to help us. He'll always offer advice and be kind. He came back and wanted to help elevate me. He doesn't need to do that, but he does. What an incredible way to be as a human being. It's mind-blowing. I have so much respect for him. After, you're just standing there shaking like, holy crap, what just happened? The crowd is electrifying when he comes out. Being able to witness all of that and stand in it and experience it, you go, woo, I want this every time. Speaking of The Rock, WWE Champion Big E recently told Newsday that while he's been campaigning to face Goldberg, there's no better opponent for him than The Rock. I would love that. If the opportunity comes along, of course I'm snatching it up. I don't know if I'd lobby for it. The one I've been lobbying for is the Goldberg match, because he was my idol as a kid, but you don't get any better than The Rock. As far as I know, he's still the biggest box office draw in Hollywood and he's from WWE. That in and of itself is incredible. What he did in this company, just being absurdly charismatic and entertaining, he is the blueprint. He broke the mold. You know, when people ask me about my proudest career accomplishment, I often will cite our promo segment with The Rock. It wasn't even a match. We just had a promo segment with Rock a few years ago. Going out there and taking a rock bottom, that was pretty wild, pretty cool. So I would absolutely love that match for sure. Fans are also looking forward to a potential match between The Rock and Roman Reigns, as we'll have to see if either of those bouts come to fruition. Despite being the Universal Champion and Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns has a ton of opportunities in the world of acting. On the Michael Kay show, Roman was asked about transitioning to Hollywood. As he responded, we'll have to see. I think there are going to be some moves made here pretty soon. There is always speculation with contract talks. That portion of it is my business. People who dive deep enough, I'm sure they can uncover and turn enough stones to figure out the time frame. That's something I want to dabble in and gain more experience. I want to use these tools that I've learned. WWE has done so right by me and have given me so much and placed so many great blessings and opportunities in front of me. I've just had to capture them and grab that ball and run with it. I'd like to think that along the way I've picked up so many skills and experienced so many things that are going to help me. At the end of the day, we all know how this works. This is a young man's game. You can't fall down your whole life. You have to get to a point where you can transition and continue to connect and create new, fresh, and evolved content for your fan base and supporters. I think I have the ability to do that. At the end of the day, it's about getting in that game, being thrown into that fire and seeing how you do. I have a pretty good track record with being thrown in the deep end. If that's what happens in Hollywood, I'm going to swim. For now, Roman will be taking on Big E in a champion versus champion bout at Survivor Series. As you may know, Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch are not on the best of terms, following their awkward title exchange on TV last month and their subsequent backstage altercation. On the Masked Man show, Charlotte was asked how she feels about this feud with Becky, as Flair said, "I feel like the only adult. I've never used media, other than to talk about my success and what I want. Everyone knows that I want to be the best. I feel like I shouldn't have to explain myself, and that people would want to understand that I want to be better, and I didn't come this far to come this far, but I didn't use these opportunities as an outlet to tear down someone else's career. Number one doesn't talk about number two. Charlotte Flair is an easy target, and I've been a target since day one. I'm used to it. I've been on top since 2015. I know the pressure and the criticism that comes with it. Most importantly, I have to stay true to myself. I didn't get to where I am without the help of others, without facing Nikki Bella, without Sasha Banks and Becky at WrestleMania 32, then Bayley coming. I know that in every feud I've had, I am a target. There is a lot that comes with the Flair name. own. I have never need to compare myself to someone else on my rise to the top. Do I take it personal? At this point, I take it personal that the audience can't see the passion that oozes out of me every single Friday, Monday, or pay-per-view. I just main evented the UK tour every night with Sasha Banks. You can't rise to the top with short-lived attention. I've spent the last 7 years earning this spot. I don't get hot 1 minute and cold the other. I am the consistent diamond of the division. I am unbreakable. I feel like it's WrestleMania 35 or the feud in 2019. Here you have Ronda and Becky tweeting God knows what they are tweeting, and here I am like, okay, do your thing. The only adult in the room, or being attacked for everything I've accomplished. When it comes to Survivor Series, it seems WWE is having trouble selling tickets for the pay-per-view, as the Wrestling Observer noted. At press time, there were 9,509 tickets out and more than 7,000 tickets sold for the show, with about 6,000 tickets remaining for a legitimate sellout, although they will probably set the building up for about 10,000 to 11,000 rather than 15,600, and it will be full. The secondary market getting price is $38, which would traditionally be very low for the New York market for a big show and not high for any market, particularly with the scarcity of supply with only 910 tickets out. WWE has had in the past as many as 7,000 tickets out for big Barclays shows on the secondary market, and one of the reasons the advance is so far behind Barclays Center shows of the past is the lack of interest by ticket brokers. Still, with higher ticket prices than ever, the gate itself will be strong based on previous standards. There has been a surprising lack of promotion for this event, as the Survivor Series teams were announced on Twitter instead of Raw or Smackdown. They've also been changed several times. Going back to the Flair and Lynch feud, Charlotte was recently on the MMA Hour detailing why her friendship with Becky came to an end. Here's how I see it. You have two women at the top of their game and both of them want to be the best. So who is the best? Competition breeds competition. And I think we simply got older, and not necessarily that success will not affect your ego, and that is why you lose a friendship. It is simply that we both want to be on top, and there is only room for one. Since mid-October, FTR have been holding the AAA Tag Team Championship after defeating the Lucha Bros in AEW. They are yet to make an appearance for AAA, as their most recent one was cancelled. The Observer noted that FTR ended up missing the last set of TV tapings due to weather issues, so their debut as champions in this promotion won't be until the December 4th Triple Mania Regia show in Monterey. It should be noted that Dax is dealing with a tailbone bruise and other injuries, with him even being knocked out 10 minutes into FTR's match against the Lucha Bros at Full Gear. Former Ring of Honor champion Jay Lethal made a shocking debut for AEW at Full Gear, as he recently had a match against Sammy Guevara for the TNT title on Dynamite. With ROH releasing their talent, AEW was able to pick him up, as the Observer noted. Lethal agreed to terms a few weeks ago for a full-time contract after ROH agreed to let anyone have an early release if they got an outside offer. Lethal is done with ROH and won't be working the December 11th Final Battle show in Baltimore. Lethal's signing has led to criticism from fans, given accusations against him from the Speaking Out movement. On Smackdown last week, it was reported by Ringside News that last-minute changes were made for the Bloodline to beat down the New Day. Dave Meltzer would confirm this, saying regarding reports that the segments on Smackdown involving Reigns and Woods were changed the day of the show in Ringside News, that is accurate, but it's also the usual. There were changes pitched between 4 and 6 p.m. the day of the show, but that is usually the case with Reigns segments, since it's a common thing for Reigns and Lesnar to ask for late changes, with Heyman as the common denominator, with ideas to enhance what was on paper the day of the show. The idea was to change things to do something to build for the Reigns vs. E match using the New Day, since that match had not been built at all going into Friday. Former NXT champion Johnny Gargano could see his WWE contract expire early next month. He's been a big star in NXT, but his prospects on the main roster has fans concerned. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it was said Gargano has not signed a new contract, but WWE is pushing very hard for him to do so, and evidently made a very strong offer for him to stay here for a long time. His deal is up December 3rd. match between The Rock and Roman Reigns has been rumored to be taking place for the longest time, with Roman recently telling Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max that The Rock will want to face him. It is the ultimate alpha male showcasing who will be the big shark in the tank. I think with everything that I have accomplished, with where I have reached with this persona and the character work, and my rightful claim at the head of this table, us being very close and like family, I am not sure if there is any other choice. If he ever wanted to get back into a WWE ring, I am definitely the guy he is going to want to be facing off against. While The Rock has made it clear there are no plans in place for the two men to square off, he did say it could possibly happen down the line. With WWE releasing Drake Maverick, the remaining members of Hit Row, Tegan Nox, John Morrison, and more, many have now reacted. A friend of Tegan Nox, Dakota Kai, put out a gif showing the two of them hugging. Keith Lee would write, "My business sense is tingling." Pete Dunne reacted with a picture of him and Nox saying Nixon, her previous ring name. Ricochet put out a picture of the recently released John Morrison as Rhea Ripley did the same. Scarlett Bordeaux would say, "Don't worry guys, the water is fine." Taya Valkyrie posted a picture with her husband Morrison saying they have each other and that's all that matters. Taya would go on to write, "Stop supporting a company that has zero respect for their talent. You love pro wrestling, spend your money on the hundreds of other alternatives. This is wrong. Ethically, as employers, they don't care about us, talent or fans." Ashanti Adonis would thank WWE following his release. Shane Thorne would write, "Which one of you gave them my number?" And John Cena would react to Drake Maverick's video suggesting fans should give this clip a watch. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.